Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. With prayer, faith, and works, all things are possible with prayer, faith, and works. You can shape your destiny. With prayer, faith, and work, no need to walk these streets in fear. Why? Because God answered prayer. When do God answer prayer? He answers our prayer all of the time. Today is Selfish Thursday. Where we pray selfishly for our heart's desire. When did we do that? Or when did we did that? At 4:30 a.m. and at 8 a.m. every single day we are here with prayer. At 4:30 a.m. and at 8 a.m. every single day we are here with prayer. And if we're not here, it is because I live in a third world country and the electricity will go off, and when electricity go off, cable go off, or internet, it dies. So if I'm not here, that don't mean I'm not praying. We all still can pray all together, but you just don't see me. But at 4:30 to 4:35, we're in prayer. From 8 to 8:05, we are in prayer. So come and join us and pray. But today is Selfish Thursday. But at 9 a.m., it's the Hawk in the Builder. It's the Hawk in the Builder. You already have seen Derek Daly. He's been on here. He is a builder. But today we have somebody else. We have myself and I, my oldest friend. From the time I was little, we been friends. We even stabbed each other in the hand and became blood brothers, okay? That's how much friends we are, okay? He told me about life. He's older than I am. He went to college before I went to college, and he came back and he told me, I was still in high school, study up. Make sure you go to college, because college will be the best time in your life, because after you get out of college, you have to be serious. You need to go to school and experience this thing called college. And he never lied yet. I went to college and lost my mind. But even through that, he is, you could say, he has a part of the foundation of this, because I was in charge of the TV ministry at our church, and I was buying equipment and stuff that I did not comprehend. But he was a computer person, and we put hours and hours and hours, because you know why? I'm going to tell you something. He is a man that a lot of people come to with questions. And his thing was, if he don't know the answer, he don't tell you, I don't know the answer. He said, wait a minute, we will figure this out together. And he'll sit down. And even though I was his closest friend, and you all can say, oh, he did it because you all his friends. But no, he is noted that way all around. People all over say the same thing. He's a man who don't mind sharing his knowledge, his understanding, his comprehension. He gave me a term that I never knew. See, because I was a hardhead. And he said something to me, and I never knew this term. We was arguing. I don't know if I was arguing, we was arguing, but he just turned to me. He said, you know, there's a different situation. I said, what? He said, there's a win-win situation where you don't lose, I don't lose. We can come to compromise. That was not in my understanding. whatsoever. And he helped me to take a new approach on things because I am a hawk. And once I set my talents on my claws or whatever they call those things into you, I don't let up. But he just told me it's not always, you don't have to look for me when you lose. We could look for a solution where we both can win. Therefore, coming down to right now, you remember I told you all the other day that I'm writing a book. I was this book been in the making for the last 20 years. Me and Dr. Weeks, my pastor, my sister, me and her was writing a book, and my ghostwriter uh, did not do the job. So I just happened speaking to my friend about things we was catching up. And he said, "Oh, you should write a book." I said, "Man, I've been writing this book for 20 years. He said, "You know what? There's things that you have said to me over the years that help me in what I'm doing." And he said, "I would like to join the team and make it a trio." So we are writing the book. When I introduce him, I will introduce him. Me, him, and Dr. Weeks. And it'll be coming out sometime in 27 because it's going to take about a year. And what the book is about me and my life. I told you all that I am not perfect. I'm not near perfect. But God brought me through there to here. And the book is going to be a part about that journey. And the title of the book is You Can't Trust the Man in the Mirror. That means that you also lie to yourself. Other people lie to you, but you are in a bad situation when you lie to yourself. And I was living that lie. No, I wasn't living that. I was in a delusional somewhere. But you got to read the book. You got to read the book. Okay, and that is coming out in 27. And we are getting ready right now to go live. Okay, wait a minute. I'm just catching up to where I'm turning on my monitor. Okay, here I am live. Okay, live. All right, I said live, but it's going back to this morning. Now, it said now, live now. Okay, I'll put you on that way. For some reason, I just turn on my live instead of picking me up from where I am. It seems like it's going down to the countdown. So he is here with us. He's in the green room right now. Anybody from where we used to live, from Boston to PAW or the Eastern District Council, which I think they just got over, any of the church family, you all know this man and you know his name, you know him well. Okay, so let me give you a preview of right now. Today is Selfish Thursday. So we have 2 minutes. Let's put in a 2 minute prayer right now. Maybe we go a little bit longer, right into 8 a.m. And I'll bring in our guests. All right, I already just gave him an assignment. Creator, the creator of all things known and unknown, Alpha and Omega, first, last, and is. We love you, we honor you, we praise you, and we thank you in all things. Creator, this community with prayer. Today is Selfish Thursday, a day where we pray selfishly for the things that are on our heart. Creator, my selfish prayer today is that you could come and say, peace, be still. That you could come and tell humanity, peace, be still. You could come and tell man to stop killing man. Peace, be still. Over in the wars, all over the world, in this existence, you can say, peace, be still. And stop killing innocents, children. You could say, peace, be still. Creator, Alpha and Omega, God, I love you. And that's my prayer today, that you say, peace, be still. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Remember, at 8 a.m. and at 4:30 a.m., at 4:30 a.m. and at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, every day we are here with prayer. Right now, I am going to bring in my friend, my oldest friend, my oldest friend, Elder David Samuel White. I forgot to send you to. I just saw it written up there. And before he speaks, I want to tell you about his dream from a little man. Elder White, you know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure. Let me
Uh,
listen to you first.
okay, Elder White. He brought me out. I was a little toddler, I was 6, maybe 7. And he looked at me in my face. He said, you know what I'm going to be? I'm going to be a pilot. And he had a pair of pilot wings he used to wear on his pilot. He said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a pilot. I'm going to fly planes. Do you remember that?
Wow. I do not, but I know that's been a lifelong dream.
Well, when you was young and you were living at 53 upstairs
Hmm.
of us, you had these pilot wings. This is right when you first got to America. You
I
had these
remember
wings.
those.
Okay, you used to bring me up and tell me how you are going to be a pilot. So that lets you all know that we known each other for a long, long time. Now
Over
I'm
60 years.
yes, and I'm more than 60. Okay, I was like in the first grade, so that's only 6. Okay, and
Yep.
I'm 70 plus, so it's more than 60. All right. I'm going to interview you. I don't know how this is going to be interviewed because I'm just going to sit down. I want you to tell people about your
I can't hear you anymore.
hear me. I put it on mute. Can you hear? You can hear me now. I'm sorry.
Yes, I
I had
can.
muted this for the intro. And I'm gonna put this back up at the end of this conversation that you could see all the places where you could get his book, but very easy. You could get it on Amazon. But I am going to bring into, I'm going to bring back Dave, and I'm going to let Dave sit down. I want him to tell us about not the process of writing the book, but exactly what the book is telling us about. And I didn't read it yet, but I saw on the outside something most important to all of us. It helps us to relieve stress. And stress is the number one killer of man. Stress. So, Elder White, go on, take it from here.
All right, thank you, man. Listening to you brought back a lot of memories. When I first met you, you were 6 years old and I was nine, almost going on 10.
Okay.
And that was some time ago.
Long,
At least
long, long time ago.
I'm almost 75, so it's been a minute.
Yes.
And a couple of things you said in the intro before I get to the book. Uh, I don't remember that conversation about college,
I do.
but but it rings true in that going off to college was the first time I had been away from home since I came to this country. And I was 3.5, almost 4 hours away from Boston. And I got up there and I started hanging out with the fellas, and there wasn't a lot of young ladies because this was the first year that my college became co-ed. And hanging out with the young men, and it dropped into my mind. You mean to tell me that there's no one here that knows me? No one's going to go back and tell mama what I'm doing. The bishop's not going to see me. And I can do anything I'm big and bad enough to do, and nobody's going to know.
All right. I'm gonna cut you off real quick. All right. A little bit of background is I told you all I'm a PK kid, a pastor.
Hmm.
Him, David, we used to sit in church on the bench, and he used to get beaten alongside of me in the middle of service. So when he talk about the bishop, he talk about my father, and we grew up in a different dynamics. So when we talking back and forth, he's like family. So it's almost like a brotherhood. But go ahead, Dave.
Okay, so um, for a brief time, my path got a little bit diverted from the Christian way of life to wanting to run with the fellas, and the Lord worked on my heart and showed me that was not the way for me, and so He kept me and brought me back uh, into the fold, so that when I graduated and when I continued my education, I became more like the person I was expected to be, a Christian young man, and not one running the streets. So, so that's number one. The second thing I remember when I said to you, "So, what am I supposed to do here? What are you calling me to do?" And you said, "You don't know, but God said to have me come on." Now, what was very interesting is as you were talking about um, the book and your experiences, it led me to I'm in the middle of writing a third book,
Mm-hmm.
and that book is separate from the one that you and I talk about. It's called Beyond the Pale, and what that's about. Uh, the idea, you've probably heard the expression "beyond the pale," is to say that people have gone beyond the boundary. They've gone beyond where they're supposed to be.
Oh, excuse me.
And
Dave,
yeah,
excuse me. I'm sorry. You know, TikTok family, I totally, I'm into this right now, and I meant to say to you all, because you can't see Elder White and you on a different camera, and I can't show you because TikTok always suspend me. If I turn the camera onto the computer, she gonna cut the feed. Go over to Victor Weeks on Facebook or YouTube or X. Victor Weeks, my name, and you could come into our feed just the way it is. I'm sorry, Dave, but go ahead.
that's okay, no problem. So, as you were talking about your life, it occurred to me that there was a very big overlap between the book that I'm writing now and a lot of the stuff that you were saying. And so the book focuses on why was so actually, let me back up. You had a question, and I basically have lived my life trying to find the answer to that question. When I was a senior in high school, about a month and a half before graduation, the principal called us all into the auditorium and said that when the junior class graduates, the school is going to close forever. And no sooner than he said that, I found tears in my eyes. And of course, I'm a jock. I'm a big man on campus. This is not okay. So I'm trying to duck down in the chair so nobody sees the tears in my eyes because I'm embarrassed. And I became puzzled because I said, had you asked me 1 second before he made the announcement, what do you think about this school? Oh, this place sucks. The teachers are terrible. They give us a hard time, blah, 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 blah. And it would be a completely different reaction than one that should make a person cry. And so I asked myself the question, why is it that people go through such great lengths to hide what they really believe, to hide their truth,
Mhm.
not only from other people, but from themselves? And that question dropped into my spirit, and that thing worried me until I decided I'm no longer going to be an engineer. I'm going to try and figure out, I don't know what you call the people that study this stuff, but I'm going to try and figure out why people do this. And so my training moved into psychology, and I've been on that question for over 50 years. Why do people go to such great lengths to hide themselves, not only from others, but from themselves? So let me tie that back into Beyond the Pale. We were created for communion. We were created in a space where God said, I want to communicate. I want to commune with you. And so he created us with that as our mission. And within that context, we are boundary. We're inside the pale. We're inside the boundary of what God decided that we should be. When not Noah, when Adam went outside of that and disobeyed God, we lost that communion. And the very first thing out of Adam's mouth, when God asked him where he was, he says, I was afraid. And so that fear is the foundation of pretty much most of all the struggles that we go through as human beings because we're beyond the pale, we're outside of the boundary. And so this book is looking at defining the boundary, looking at the process of getting back, and looking at the psychology of human beings as they transition from that space back into right relationship with God. So that book should be coming out probably sometime around December. Now let's get back to the one that you asked me to come on talk about.
Okay.
Now, the book that I've released in April, it's a niche book. It's that book that when you look at it, you would say, this is not for me, because pathological demand avoidance is a very specific thing. It is a diagnostic criteria that some people say is inside the autism spectrum, and some say it should be a diagnosis on its own, and so there's controversy around it. But the bottom line is that there are individuals who have extremely sensitive nervous systems, and even ordinary requests from them would put them into a state where they feel unsafe, and they will act in ways that look like they're not safe. So they're trying to seek safety. So, as a trauma specialist, as a person who works with people who have trauma in their life, I began to look at the similarities between what happens with people with PDA when they become overwhelmed and the dynamics of the nervous system for someone who's traumatized. And the parallel was just so clear to me that I said, what happens if we begin to think about this thing from the nervous system perspective? That we understand that it's not that people are not wanting to cooperate, they're not wanting to be disagreeable, but their nervous system is just so sensitive that they become overwhelmed. So this book is a walking through uh, pathological demand avoidance in all of its various iterations and looking at how to understand it from the perspective of the autonomic nervous system. And so because of that, the autonomic nervous system is it monitors your stress response to life. And so even though it's not specifically written for everyone, it has enough information about how stress impacts you and how stress causes you to behave in ways that you do not want. And so that's why I say for anyone who wants to understand how to help manage the stresses in their life, this book can help you. So that's in a nutshell what the book is about. And if you look at the Facebook and LinkedIn um, post, I'm offering 50 free copies to the
Woo-woo!
first 50 people who sign up. They will get free copies of the book, and I'm giving both a PDF and an ebook version. The reasoning behind that is some folks are readers and some folks are listeners. So if you want have the ebook, you can just have your device read the ebook to you. You could also do that with the PDF book, but it's easier on the ebook. So for either dimension that you like, then there's some people who will want to have the words in front of them while they're listening to it at the same time. So that's why I'm offering a copy of both for the first 50 people who go to the site and request it. You will get a copy sent to you. And I would appreciate, there's no obligation, but I would greatly appreciate after you read the book to give me an honest feedback on Amazon. Go down to the page on the bottom of the book page on Amazon and write an honest review of what you thought about the book.
Okay, okay. All right, so I speak ironically to the people. I break it down to simple words. So I'm gonna break down because you use a lot of big words in there when you speak. I see you got the doctorate behind your name. So you're telling me that the book deals with autism. Now, unfortunately, I have 6 grandkids, and out of six, four of them have some form of autism. And it's dealing with that. And I kind of sense that because I think that I have something. I don't know exactly what it is because I came up in the time before it was termed. It would just get up and just keep on going and keep on moving, whatever the case may be. But what I'm hearing from you on your description was that it's could be a condition that forced us into a defensive nervous mode where we are overwhelmed by a situation and our defense get up and we are searching for solutions and our natural defenses, whatever they may be, whatever we develop from our upbringing come in. And some people look at it as people being confused, uh, not equipped, uh, less than. But you are saying that it is A natural condition or unnatural condition?
Okay, so what I'm saying is that your brain and your nervous system has but one job. That's to keep you safe and alive.
Yes.
And your five senses is always collecting information or collecting data.
Well, tell the people
To,
what the five senses are. See,
so
you
if
keep on.
you're
You have to wait a minute. You have to. There are people. I'm seeing all over the world. I have this morning. I have some people from over in the Middle East. I have people from Africa over here. I have a big thing in Europe. A lot of people from Spain on here,
Mhm.
and I have different people, and that's why I speak Ebronically. I get tried to speak where everybody could kind of understand the words that I'm saying without the definition of trying to figure it out. So,
Okay,
can you come down a
so,
little?
so
Down
so
a
you
little?
want me to break it down even further?
Yes, sir.
So all human beings who are operating with a normal body
Yes.
has five senses. You have your sense of touch, taste, sight, hearing, and smelling. Those five senses exist in all human beings, and they are always collecting information. You don't think about it, you don't plan it, your nervous system just does its thing, okay? When that information comes into the body, it comes in on the nervous system, and there's a particular part of your nervous system called the autonomic nervous system, which are the pieces of the nerves that's outside of your central nervous system, outside of your spine. And that part of your nervous system has two branches. One branch acts like a gas pedal. So when that's activated, it puts energy into your system. The other branch acts like a brake, and it slows you down. And so all day long, your system is collecting information and filtering it through, is this safe or is that this not safe? If it feels like it's safe, then you are in the rest and relax state, which is where human beings are supposed to be most of the time. But anytime there is a perception of threat, the gas pedal gets turned on and you get switched into what we call the fight, flight, freeze response. Everybody probably knows about that. And so when you're in your flight, fight, freeze response, your instincts are not to want to connect with other people. Your instinct is, I need to protect myself because there's some danger in the environment. And the way that God designed us, that system works pretty much seamlessly all day long. You perceive a threat, your nervous system responds, your cognitive brain kicks in and says, there's no problem, relax. Threat, relax. Threat, and you're going through that all day long. Now, there's some individuals whose nervous system is extremely sensitive, and it doesn't take much to get them to the fight, flight, fear response. So, for example, this if you say you take one of your grandchildren and your grandchildren had this particular condition, you would say to him, would you please go pick up your toys? And he would go into a meltdown because he perceives that you're ordering him to do this. He has lost control, and his nervous system automatically shifts him into a state where he's going to be defiant. And most people look at that and say he's being defiant on purpose, he's being rude, he's being disrespectful, he's been disorderly, all of those things, when it might simply be that his nervous system says, I am now threatened. And in that space, they don't care about following rules, they don't care about listening to what you say. The nervous system says there's a threat, and so I'm going to protect myself from that threat. And over time, based on how you are raised and the conditioning that you get from your primary caregivers and your family, you learn how to respond to that threat in a way that keeps you safe.
Mhm.
And that now becomes your automatic response over time. So, grandson, go pick up your toys. And he freaks out
Yeah,
and
we go through that.
and he cusses you out,
No,
or
we didn't do that.
he starts slamming doors, or he whatever it is that he does
Yeah.
that works. That now becomes, this is how I stay safe. And so every time that anything that reminds him of that situation is in front of him, he behaves that way because it keeps him safe. And that's the job of the brain. It's not something unusual. That's what the brain is supposed to do. And but if you're interpreting it from a social perspective, and you're saying this kid needs to be retrained, this kid needs a spanking, this kid needs whatever it is to correct him, then you've missed the opportunity to understand that his nervous system is driving him to behave in ways that makes him feel safe and protected. So the book is really about explaining that process, and how, what are some things you can do as a teacher, a parent, a clinician, when you run up against these types of youngsters. What are some things that you can do if you understand it as a nervous system problem rather than the kid is acting up?
Dave, I would say, I'm listening to you right now. I would say that every human being has that in some
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's a 100% natural human response.
response because all of us have that and we all react to that and they just have it magnetized a little bit more and they have not for some reason developed the ability to discern between foe and friend or situation of understanding and comprehension of what's happening.
It's not that they don't, they understand it. But here's the thing: right now, you and I are not having a problem. And so, as a human being, we are designed to want to be in communion and fellowship with one another. We want to be around other people because we're made as social animals. We want to be in community. And as long as the community feels safe, you want to be with other people. As soon as something happens that causes your nervous system to perceive that the place is no longer safe, you shift from wanting to be around people to wanting to protect yourself from people. And when you go into that space of protection, that's what we call the flight, fright, freeze response. And at that point, you don't care about being social. You don't care about how is Victor going to look at me. All that matters is I'm protecting myself because I feel unsafe. And I'm going to do whatever it is that I need to do to keep myself safe. And that whatever it is has a lot to do with what you learned from the time you came out of the womb to the time you are right now.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes that makes a lot of sense. It kind of answer where I'm at now, and ooh, which making me nervous because he's telling me too much about myself, and I don't know. I can handle the truth about everything, but to the people out there, if we're listening, and I hope you all are listening, and I'm hoping that it opens understandings of your surrounding people. Some people that when you at your job and you say something to them, and it could be your coworker, it could be your boss, it could be your one of the people that you're over them. Because I'll tell you a situation I had at my job. My biggest flaw, because I was a foreman and a supervisor. My flaw, I knew it was me. I couldn't understand why people cannot just go do the job. I had people on my job would do everything but their job. They would put more effort in not doing it. And I'm talking about me personally. I couldn't understand that because I was brought up, I was just taught it's easy to go get the job done, finish it, and then after that, I can do whatever I want. But I'm not going to do that job because I personally, I can't stand nobody come up in my face and run up in my face talking about what I did or what I didn't do. I was not for that noise. So for me, my escape and flight was just to do it. That way, they had nothing to say. But when I was being in that position, I found myself getting in small arguments and fighting with people to get them to do their job, and they just couldn't see it. And I couldn't see what they were seeing because I know that I did it. And
So let me trace that out for you. Okay, so
okay,
your value system says, and your upbringing says, do the job, and that keeps you safe. Nobody's gonna fuss with you if you just do the job.
yes,
So your immediate response is somebody gives me a job to do. I understand what the job is. I'm just going to go do the job. And that keeps you safe. Now, there's some individuals who you tell them to go do the job and they get defensive immediately. They go to the space of you're trying to control me. You're trying to tell me what to do. You're trying to check me. And my upbringing says that that's not okay. And so instead of just doing the job, they are going to confront you and say to you, you don't have a right, blah, 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 whatever it is that they say. And most of the time, when you move into that space, it is not a decision, it is a reaction of your nervous system to a perception of threat. So, and the perception of threat is, or the threat is, people are trying to control me. And it's not okay for people to try to control me. So I'm going to flex up and do whatever I can to push back against people controlling me. That individual moves into the fight mode.
okay,
There's some individuals that would just back away and go and isolate and hide and not engage at all. Those people move into the flight mode. Okay. And if the situation is strong enough, they neither fight nor flight. They just go numb. They have the deer in the headlights look. I don't know what to do because this thing is so huge that I just can't react, and they freeze up. For those of you who are interested in this argument at a deeper level, you want to look up the work of Dr. Stephen Porges on what's called the polyvagal theory. And is talking about the vagus nerve, which is also known as the 10th cranial nerve, starts at the base of your skull and runs all the way down to below your stomach. And it touches all the major organs of your body. And so this is the nerve that is the autonomic nervous system that I'm talking about. This is the nerve that controls your response. It's like your radar system. It's the nerve that controls how you respond to the perception of threat. Now, notice I keep saying it is the perception of threat. The brain and nervous system does not distinguish between a real threat and a perceived threat. It doesn't matter. So, am I really in danger objectively? The brain doesn't care. And sometimes the biggest source of threat that human beings face is not actual danger, it's the perception of danger. We live in the safest time in human history, but we have more traumatized and unsafe people today than in any other time in the world.
excuse me. Where you say you live in? Where?
I'm in Georgia.
Georgia.
Yep.
All right, so you're delusional. Okay, then. All right. 'Cause right now,
Yeah, so let me explain to you. Let me explain this distinction a little bit.
okay.
Imagine you're in the jungle somewhere, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a gazelle grazing on the grass, and out of the corner of its eye, it notices a lion coming. That gazelle is going to pick up and start running as fast as it can to get away from the lion. The
Mm-hmm.
lion is giving chase because this is a dangerous situation. Lion's giving chase. The gazelle outruns the lion, looks around, he doesn't see the lion. For him, the danger is gone. He goes back to eating grass. He goes back to doing what he was doing before. If that were a human being, the human being would be looking over his shoulder, trying to figure out where did the lion go? When is he going to pounce on me again? What do I have to be concerned about? Because we have the capacity to perceive threat rather than just respond to actual danger.
I'm with you.
That capacity is what makes living with other human beings so difficult. Because and in some of these TV shows and whatnot, where they talk about eyewitness. It's
Mhm.
eyewitness is some of the worst witness in the world. You and I will see the exact same thing,
And be totally
and and because of how we process the information, the meaning that we make of it is completely different. And so, are you wrong or am I wrong? It's not a matter of right or wrong. It's a matter of you have been trained all of your life to make meaning in a particular way, and you make meaning of that all the time. So if I say something, let me give you one of the examples that I use. uh, let's say that you were coming to visit me,
Mhm.
and I'm here in my office. I don't have any windows. You walk through the door, you have an umbrella, and the umbrella is wet. And I say to you, "Oh, Victor, it's raining outside." And you say to me, "No, Dave, it's not raining outside." I said, "Of course it's raining outside. Your umbrella's wet." And you say, "No, it's not raining outside." And I then say to you, "You stupid idiot, of course it's raining outside. The umbrella's wet." Now, I can simply get up and go look outside and see whether it's raining or not. And you then say to me, "Well, what happened is when you were coming in, I had the umbrella open because I want to keep the sun off my head. But when I was coming in, your wife was outside. She threw some water over, and
Yeah.
that's how the umbrella got wet."
Mhm.
That's easy to fix. It's very easy to understand that the content of what I said was wrong. But now there's the elephant in the room. I just called you a stupid idiot
Mhm.
because I believe that my relationship with you can support me saying that to you and you not be offended.
Mhm.
What happens if you don't have the same expectation and understanding? Now you are offended because I said something to you, I've insulted you, and you're insulted. I'm thinking we're good, you're insulted, and now we're in conflict because our perception of what happened was different.
Mhm.
And that's what gets people into trouble 99.99% of the time. It's not the content of how you communicate, it's the underlying process of what's going on. What do I think my relationship is with you? Why I can say things the way I say them.
Yeah. I was. You know what? I think I might have to bring you on with when I come on with Derek because there's a segment that I want to talk about, and I want to talk about with you right now. This has been on my heart to talk about, and I want to talk to a lot of guys. So we're going to jump around, and we're just going to prick his brain about things. Okay, there's two things I want to talk about. And I want to talk because I have my audience here and I talk to them all the time. And I talk to them about something that you also told me a long time ago about the four realities in which we live in. I don't know if you remember that because I bring up a lot of things and he's saying he don't remember. And that's the stuff that we eat in our food make us forget. But I tell the people, we live or man live in four different realities. And if I'm wrong, you could correct me. If we have more or less, I know it can't be less. In the four realities that we live in, I remember you said Vic. You said Victor. There's four realities. There's things that we know that we know. That's one. There's things that we know that we don't know. That's two. There's things that we don't know that we know, and there's things we don't know that we don't know. And
Hmm.
those, and I tell the people that on here, those are our four realities. We live and we believe there's only one reality, but we are in four different realms all at once because we living with things that we know that we know. There's things that we know that we just don't know it. That's part of our reality. There's a part of reality that we don't know, things that we know. And I ask you, what do you mean by that? And your explanation is, if you're walking and your eyes are shut and something hits you in your eyes, but you didn't see it, it falls, you didn't know, but you knew something was coming. Your conscious didn't pick it up, but your subconscious picked it up, and it was a reaction. Then I call it the God syndrome. God is beyond my understanding. He has things that I don't know that I don't know. He is all of that. That's something I added that in there myself to explain what I'm talking about. But can you talk about those four things? Are there any more? Are we living in those four spectrums?
Well, generally, that's how people describe it, and I wouldn't want to go beyond that. But as you were speaking, one of the things that you're describing is what Paul said. He says, "We see through a glass darkly, and I am limited in terms of what I see and what I know. But there's going to come a time when I am known even as I am known. The limitations of your mind, the limitations of your humanity will be removed, and you will know as you are known. So just as God knows you totally, you will be given that capacity to know in that level again. And I actually believe that that's part of what we lost through our part of what humanity lost when we had the rupture of the relationship with God. That capacity to know in that way was taken away from us because we've broken the relationship. We're in a breach of our relationship. Um, so yeah, I would say that that pretty much covers it. Uh, and there was a what did that reminded me, and I don't know why it reminded me of a saying that your father used to say all the time: "Do all the good you can
Yes.
in in all
The
the
way
ways that you
you
can, for all the people that you
you
can,
can
for just as long as you
as you
can."
can. Whew.
So part of I don't know why that triggered in my head, but what you said reminded me of that. That we have to be always looking to maximize doing good. We always have to be looking, and here's the thing: again, as long as your nervous system is telling you that the world is safe, you can stay in that space and do that without restriction. But because you're in an environment that's constantly being stimulated, that balance of staying uh, self-regulated, um, it's difficult. It's next to impossible to stay that way all the time. And go back to the nervous system for a minute. All of the information that your senses collect and bring into your body does not get processed into actual knowledge. So I have what I call the black box explanation of humanity. So your senses collects data. Data is not information until you personally make sense of that data that comes in and filters it through the human being that you are. There's no meaning to it. So once you make meaning to it, now you have information. Okay? And information for every individual is slightly different, because there's no way to actually take the stuff that's outside of you and bring it into your body and have you have a full actual representation of it. What you have is a representation of reality as your senses gives it to you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What most people don't understand is that only about, let's be generous and say 25 to 30% of the data that comes in through your senses actually gets processed as cognitive awareness. The other 70% is in your body. It's stored in the body. That's why one of the biggest, best known trauma specialists in the world, fellow by the name of Bessel van der Kolk, put out a book, I want to say about 12, 13 years ago, called The Body Keeps the Score. Trauma is stored in the body. So there are things that your senses bring in that never gets processed into conscious awareness, that's stored in your body. So watch this. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't mean to break you up. It's part of when you grow up. Older people my age and our age understand this. When you're young, you could run, you could fall down, you could jump up, and you could bust yourself off. But trust me, once you get over 50 into 60, for some reason, all of a sudden, your shoulders start aching you, and at least for me, it brings me right back to when I was 7 years old and I trip and fall on my shoulder and I got up and brushed it off. It
Mm-hmm.
came back. My body kept score because I was young. I was able to brush it off, and I couldn't feel the full effect of the pain and the trauma. And the trauma of that pain come back when you get older. So when you get older, I'm telling you, all the things that you're doing, you will feel it. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, that what you just said is one of the things that I do when I work with athletes about getting over injury. When you get injured and you are rehabilitating, most of the rehabilitation is getting you physically okay, so that physically you can perform again. But underneath that physical reality is what's the sensation? What is the trauma associated with having had that experience and working through that, and then working through your existing trauma from the rest of the stuff that's happened in your life, and working through what we call vicarious trauma. So as an athlete, have you seen or been on a team where one of your uh, teammates got hurt and you observed it? How did that impact you? And so all of those things are stored in the body. And until we start to clean that out, you are not fully released from that traumatic situation to be able to go back and perform the way that you want to, because those are blocks. But let me go back to that idea. So that 70 or so percent of the experience that's stored in your body, that those are the things that cause you to react to circumstances in ways that you may not want to. So let me think about this for a second.
Okay, you.
Do you have? I'm not going to ask you to answer this, but there are behaviors that all of us have
Mm-hmm.
that we say, I don't like that about myself. I don't like what happens to me when I do that. So I swear I'm not going to do that anymore.
Oh
I'm going
yeah.
to
Oh yeah, I got flaws. I tell the people I'm not perfect. Oh,
No,
and
but
we're
listen, but no, but here's the thing. I'm not going to do that anymore. And you absolutely mean that you're not going to do that anymore.
mm-hmm.
But now you're going along in life, and something happens that reminds you or that causes that situation to come into your awareness. And before you have actually processed that you said you weren't going to do this anymore, you're engaged in the behavior that you swore that you weren't going to do and that you want to stop. And then after you do that, the negative tape starts playing in your head,
Mm-hmm.
and you start, uh, two things happen. First thing that happens is you experience guilt. And guilt is about your behavior. Guilt says, I know better than this. I should be able not to do this. What could I have done that would not have made this happen? And so I'm guilty, so let me try and fix that. If it stopped there, you would not be in such bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
But guilt moves to shame.
Mm-hmm.
Shame now asks a different question. Shame is not about your behavior. Shame is about what kind of person am I? How, David, you know better than that. How could you do that? How could you treat somebody that you love, that you say you love or you care? How could you treat them that way? And now you are in the throes of shame. Okay, and those things in combination plays on the mind. It starts to impact you in terms of your mental health. So all of these things that I'm talking about that can be stored in the body that don't necessarily go up to your conscious awareness, it's in there. And you just have to put yourself in the right circumstance for it to come to the surface. And when it comes to the surface, you have these negative information about who you are, what kind of person you are, what you. So when you deal with people, for example, who are experiencing intimate partner violence, one of the first things that that person does is, what could I have done to prevent that partner from behaving this way? How could I stop them from beating on me? How am I causing this in my life? As if they're to blame for the other person's behavior. That's the guilt piece. Then the shame piece comes, how could I put up with this? What kind of person am I that I'm willing to deal with this situation and stay in this situation time after time after time and continue to put up with this? All of those things are tied into your nervous system response and how your brain and your body reacts to protect you from danger.
Okay, so everybody, once again, this is the builder in the heart. And I am so happy to have my oldest friend in life here with me, Elder David White. Elder White, Dave, I'm inviting you back. Not next Thursday, because next Thursday is Derek Daly being here, but the week after that, I'm inviting you to come back again because this is great conversation. I don't know how your time is, but the public I want to talk to you about this phenomena. I was going to speak with this with David, but I have a lot of men and a lot of people that's on here that marrying women from another country in relationships. And I'm married, my wife is Dominican, and I'm gonna talk about that. And I want you to psychologically break it down because there's a lot of people coming down here, and even in relationships, I had to, God bless me in such a way. One of the prayers that I asked God to give onto me is comprehension, the understanding of things, to allow me to understand. And with my wife, I had to understand her culture, her ways are not my ways. Our arguments was over things that I take for granted. Her arguments with me is about things that she take for granted. But being a man, I had to understand more than her because I am the foundation of this my household. And I want to talk about that with you next time you come back. If you do come back, if you decide. But I want everybody in the audience to write in a question if he come back that he can answer. But more importantly, this is his books. You see it right here, and you see where we've been here more than an hour, so I'm cutting him off short. I know he got more to say, but I'd rather leave you all hungry that you all come back in 2 weeks from now. But his books are available on ebooks, paperback, hard copy are on Amazon. So you could go to Amazon. Here is the book. I'm going to leave it up for a minute for you all to write it down, take the pictures, take your phone, tap it.
Victor, the easiest way to do that is just put in David S. White when you go to Amazon. So you don't have to remember that complicated title. Just put in my name, and it'll take you right to the book.
Okay, you hear the young man? He said, put in his name, David S. White. Remember his name, David S. White. And hopefully, maybe I can get him commit right now. Can I see you back here in 2 weeks? I know you're going to Africa.
I am leaving for Africa on Sunday.
Okay.
And I won't be back until the beginning of August.
Okay. In August, I think I already have a date with you to come on in August. So I'm going to wait till August till you come back because I'm thinking about moving to Africa for 6 months out the year. I'm going to do 6 months in Dominican Republic and 6 months in Africa. I just told.
Where are you thinking to go?
Kenya. I'm going to Kenya. I'm going to Kenya because I'm going to tell you why. Because Kenya is elevated, and their temperature all year round is 76 degrees. In the summertime, it's 76 degrees. In the winter, it's 76 degrees. And
well, I'm heading to West Africa. I'm heading to Sierra Leone and Liberia.
Yes, I'm in the East Africa. I found out that I am from East Africa. I don't know if I told you when I went to Kenya, and I went to Kenya and Tanzania, but I went to Kenya first. And soon as I got out of in Kenya, everybody kept calling me my side, hey, my side, my side. I said, what you, you know, wherever I go, my side. So I thought it was a greeting until when I got into, you know, I saw them. And I was in Kenya, I saw the my side people. Mm-hmm. And then I started to look at them, and I'm looking at their features, and I'm looking at my features, and they was coming up to me as if I was one of them. And their features and my face structure is exactly like theirs. They remind me of a lot of my my grandfather, Wally Wade. Mm-hmm. All of my uncles, they look just like my uncles. They look, and I said, you know what? You know, they broke down the history how the Arabs, they was in the slave trade and they came around also. But a lot of us was already here in Americas, and the slave trade was not the slave trade, it was genocide. They threw a lot of those Africans, 90% of the people they picked up went into the water. But that's a story for another day.
You need to go and visit Senegal and go to Gorée Island. It was a life-changing experience.
Yes, and you also have to. I know I wanted to go there and see the preparation for them, how they prepare the people to go on the ships, But then you got to take it one step farther than that and realize that the Lords of London was there, and what they used to do, because we was not considered human, we was considered cargo, and they put us down as cargo and insured their ship in the cargo, and they was paid by the Lords of London because they used to throw the slaves overboard and just put in a claim and got paid.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the genocide. That was the game. And you heard about the Berlin 13.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there was actually 15 countries there. It was not 13. It was Turkey and the United States also there in Berlin. And it was about genocide. Every European country went to Africa and committed genocide. They went and they got a body. It's not only Belgium with thing, Germany, Italy, France, all of them went there and committed genocide. And that's one of the burrs underneath my skin, as you could tell. So history, everything that we are taught in America is a lie. Every single
Well,
history
well,
book. I'm talking about history.
you have
Is
to understand the function of history. The function of history is for the folks who are victorious to tell
tell
their
their story.
story.
Right. Tell their
Okay,
story.
but the ones who were not victorious, their stories don't get told.
Exactly. Exactly. And we've been told
So if you understand that that's what history is, then you understand that it's already skewed to tell a particular story.
exactly, exactly. But unfortunately, me, myself, and I believe that every bit of history as I was taught in school.
Ah,
I felt, I drank the tea,
yeah.
until the math was not mathing.
You
The
want
math.
to know when history struck me as being weird right off the bat? I believe it was middle school in American history or civics when they used to teach you about the Monroe Doctrine.
Oh yeah,
And when I understood the Monroe Doctrine, I said, so wait a minute. You're telling me that this country just decided that no other country can come into this hemisphere and have a presence without their permission. And so I was like, why are they able to do that? What gives them the authority to tell other countries what they can and can't do? And
not
so at that age, I started to understand, wait a minute, something is off here.
yeah, it's not even that. I picked it up in the I think it was the third or the fourth grade, and this was back at the garrison. You was there then, and it
Hmm.
told me that if I ever came walking in the street and I come to a corner intersection with me and a white man, no matter if I got there first or he got there second or first, I had to stop and let him cross. It's a form of respect. At that age, I asked the lady, why can't he respect me the same way he want me to respect him? She said, that's not how
And you were being rude.
rude. This is not how well, they consider me a dummy. So, they didn't even waste their time trying to explain it to me. But, that's not the way it worked. I had to. And when she said she had to, I didn't argue with her. I just sat back and I just knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong a little earlier than that, but
Mhm.
I knew something was wrong until my father took me to Muskrat. And I went there and I looked around. They We got off the plane. Customs was black. We got outside there. All the taxi drivers was black. We got out there. The police. When I saw that the police were black, I never seen nothing like that. I never saw a black policeman in my life. until I got the
What, one of these days, we're going to have that conversation because for a long time, I did not understand that the narrative of a who went from Africa to the Caribbean is distinctively different than the narrative of a black person that went from Africa straight to the United States. It's a different experience.
it
And
is
if you and I didn't understand that for years because I was coming to the US with my Caribbean orientation and my Caribbean narrative.
right.
And when I spoke that narrative, American born blacks thought I was thinking I'm better than them. And it wasn't that at all. It was just that my experience didn't teach
Totally
me
different.
to be anytime. So, what I experienced as a young child is black folks born in America, whenever they have a conflict with a white person, their first thought is it has to do with race
Yes.
because that's their experience. My first thought is, no, something's going on, but it has nothing to do with me. Because I know I'm okay. So
Yeah, but
whatever's going on is something different. And
yeah,
if you don't understand that perspective changes how you deal with folks, it causes a tremendous problem.
yes, and it's just part of you brought up. And my perspective was because I grew up in Bethel, it was like I was a munchrat, but
Hmm.
also not only I grew up in America, so I had a combination of a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So
You
my
were you were semi bicultural.
exactly. So my understanding was something that was just built in me. God put that in me. That's part of why I do this fight. That something wasn't right. But you know what? We're going 20 minutes longer than we supposed to already. David, I appreciate you. Be safe when you go to Africa. I'm coming right behind you. And when you come back, we're going to start writing the book and we're going to have you back on because I I love this. And for the people out there are reasons why we do the things we do. And remember, when I talk to you all about the different prisons, how life is a chessboard but not a flat chessboard. It had 64 different levels, and all depends on what level we all experience the same thing, but we're looking out of different prisons. And our prison is our personal reality, and that is based on the foundation on which our lives are built. And that's how we see things. And all these little things and all the crazy things that in my mind, we're going to put it out there for Elder White and he can break it down. And if you have any questions or likes, you all can put a comment here. But if you want to follow Elder White, I'm sure you could look him up. Can they look you up on your Facebook page?
Absolutely.
So you could go
Facebook,
to,
I only have two social media presence, Facebook and LinkedIn.
okay, and you could go there. And like I say, some of you all, he's an elder. And I shouldn't do this to him. I shouldn't do this to him. But he's a man that will answer your questions. He can't help it. He cannot help himself. He is too good of a human being. He's always out there for a helping hand. And that is, I want to give you flowers while you still can smell them. He is
Thank you, sir.
a
Appreciate
great,
you.
great, great human being. Elder White, I'm going to click you off and enjoy yourself, and I'll see you when you get back.
All right. Take care. Thank you for having me.
Always, it was my pleasure. Okay, Elder White,
Bye bye now.
bye bye. And for everybody else, I want to thank you for coming and spending your time and sharing your time here with us. It's the builder in the heart. I'm going to invite more people to come and be here with us. Okay? And it's just us talking and growing. We want to grow. We want to grow. We want to grow. And remember, I love God. I love God. And with prayer, we can do whatever we want. Everybody have a great day and enjoy yourself. I enjoy you. I appreciate all you all. I love all of you all. Remember, 4:30 a.m. and at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, we are here live with prayer every morning from 4:35 to 4:30, from 4:30 to 4:35, and also from 8 a.m. to 8:05 with prayer. On Mondays at 8:05, we have Think, where I talk about my personal beliefs, my convictions on political and social events. On Wednesday, we have Ask the Pastor with Bishop Leo Clifford Smith out of New Jersey. He is here every Wednesday at 8:05. And on Thursday, it's the Builder and the Hawk. Next Thursday coming up, it will be me and Derek Daly talking about building a community. This young man built a community within his community. So we're going to be talking about being strong, standing up, and doing something in your community. And you know, Friday is my time. Saturday is friends and family barbecue time. And Sunday is the day that humanity set aside for God. But we praise Him every single day. So, everybody, thank you. I appreciate you all for your time.